Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Dragon Ball Super Edition 2 Formidable Battle Stage. Now this event has 4 different boss fights in it. The first one is against Kefla. She is Strength type in her first phase, Physical in her second, and Strength again in her final. She is able to nullify Ceiling in her base form, does 1 million normals, 2.8 million supers. Her attack and defense go up by 50% on the second turn from her entry. Her attack and defense go up by 100% on the fourth turn from her entry. Her second phase is a physical type phase, 90 million health, 2.8 million super. Her defense goes up with each turn passed, and she also has a 7% evasion chance. In the second phase, she is immune to stunning. And then we have the third phase, where it is Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. She nullifies super attack Ceiling, grants immunity to being stunned, attack and defense of 50% on the third turn from the character's entry turn, and the damage reduction rate is raised before receiving 10 attacks. 3.4 million health, and just in general, she is pretty damn, I would say, glass cannon-y. Like, she can hit relatively hard, but I think for me, the big considerations is essentially that, for all intents and purposes, the damage she does is pretty big, but the functionality and her tankiness is not very big. So she has some general level of tankiness, obviously with a little bit of evasion here and there, but there's nothing too major that she functionally does that's too crazy. In terms of our team, I have decided to run a Universal Survival Soccer team. This team functions pretty well, I would say. I think it has a pretty good level of association. I think it works incredibly well together. We've got the Strength USS Vegeta, or the SSBE Vegeta from 10th anniversary. We've got the Int Goku Frieza, Int Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, AGL MUI Goku, and we have obviously the Int Android 17, who I think is actually, at least by my estimate, a pretty impressive running unit. And then I brought the physical Evokian duo. There's a couple of reasons why attack lowering is quite effective in formidable battles. The Evokian duo do pretty well because of their attack lowering. It helps to really bring some bosses down a peg, especially with how a lot of bosses in this one gain attack basically based on turns passing. So for example, Kefla gains attack based on her third turn passing. So if you attack lower her, then that reduces that effect if you get to the third turn. In terms of Ribrianna, Concerned Rosie, they get attack of 22% up with every single turn passed. So it definitely works quite well here. Now in terms of the actual kind of boss, and in terms of the different kind of considerations, the second boss is Ribrianna, Concerned Rosie, who will then turn into Ribrianna Giant form. 100 million health, 3.4 million super, attack of 22% up with each turn passed, defense of 22% up with each turn passed, damage reduction raised when the tournament participant's category, ally, or character is present. It does raise the defense or damage reduction rate, but it's not too crazy. Honestly, it seems like we're able to deal with it fairly easily. It could just be that this team has a high volume of damage. It does, but I mean, still, it is. Then Ribrianna Giant form. Attack of 100% up on the second turn from the character's entry, defense of -2 with each attack received. So this helps to kind of reduce her tankiness. I'm not going to say she's super tanky, but basically she has 4.5 million super, attack of 100% on the second turn from the character's entry turn, which is more the problem. You need to try and nuke her down before she really starts to benefit from that double up of attack and can kind of start to really kind of net you down. So also one of the reasons why I like this USS Reps Universe 7 team, because for me there's just a very good how can I say, like, just a very good dodge mechanics. You got revives, like there's good mitigation that I think works very well, and I think does a great job with this team. So I do really like it. Then we move into the basically topo fight. Now the topo fight, obviously 2 phases as well. None of the fights, I would say, have overwhelming health to the point where they are like super sponges. They are a bit annoying, but they're not overwhelming in terms of health. They're not like absolutely unable to be handled. They're not, terribly big damage soaks. You can actually nuke them down, especially with a team like this that starts out quite strong. Topo, he reduces your attack with each turn, so you don't want to fight him for long. Like I said, luckily he's not got a huge chunk of health. His reduction also applies to your defense, so 11% per turn, no more than 50%, but you shouldn't be fighting him for that long. He does 3 million in terms of super. When he enters his Topo God of Destruction mode, that's also a big consideration, so he will nullify super attack ceiling effects. He also has immunity to being stunned. This one's interesting because he gets Ki Blast up, so attack up with each Ki Blast super received. He also gets defense up with each Ki Blast super received as well. Damage reduction rate raised before receiving 8 attacks. 3 million, definitely in terms of damage, but basically it's that rapid kind of acceleration you can get, especially if he's getting hit by a whole bunch of Ki blast supers. It can definitely kind of boost his general level of attack, especially if you are not doing enough attacks to reduce that damage reduction rate. If you're filling up with Ki blast supers, not again because of his health, it shouldn't be a huge problem, but basically there is that consideration that basically there is, how can I say, like the chance for him to surprise you with a big burst. Then we have Jiren, and Jiren, interesting one. I think the first phase is actually harder than the second phase. He performs a critical hit when attacking. He has damage reduction rate of -7% each turn passed, and reduces damage below a certain threshold to 0. So he can be pretty annoying. The critting is definitely something very annoying. Now, Jiren full power, although he hits like a truck, I mean, he hits 5.6 million compared to, the base Jiren who hits for 3. You can easily reduce his attack down quite quickly because he loses 7% attack with each attack received. Your strength Super Saiyan Blue Vegetas, they do like a lot of attacks. So this kind of brings his attack down fairly quickly and makes things a lot more manageable for you. But yeah, I would say that's kind of like where I think it gets relatively easier. Again, also not a lot of health here, 160 mil, not a lot of like defense, not a lot of damage reduction, so just really able to kind of burst him, chunk him through, and just give you like a really good kind of level of damage and performance. And I think overall a really solid foundation to work off of. And I think you can just kind of take things not too chilled here, but I think there's a lot of good power play here, especially with attack lowering, because you can attack lower pretty much all of these bosses, and I think that's something that's super useful, and is something I honestly would just highly suggest most people do. So yeah, that's really just kind of it from me. Obviously, let me know your teams, but yeah, that'll be it from me. Bye.